Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with us on the Snow Before You Go forecast, and be sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when my latest forecasts come out. All right, let me set the table here, my bullet points. So we've got one more surge of snow coming with this particular storm cycle, and that's going to continue into 12:30 in the morning for a number of locations, along with strong wind gusts of 40 to 80 miles per hour on 12:30. So 12:30 Monday is going to be a powder day for a lot of the Tetons, Idaho, the Wasatch, central to northern mountains of Colorado. Now in the Northeast, you've got rain 12:29 into 12:30, so no snow there. Your next shot of snow comes 1-1 and 1-2. The western pattern looking down the road, 1-1 through 1-6, really favors many of the same areas that are getting hit currently and over the last few days. The Pacific Northwest, Idaho, Montana, Tetons, Wasatch, and potentially the central and northern mountains of Colorado. All right, let me set the stage. Here's water vapor satellite imagery. So on this, your drier air aloft is, or at this particular one, it's more in the low levels, is going to be in the oranges and the reds. Your moisture is going to be in the whites and the blues. And there's our final storm system of this cycle. That's going to be moving through a lot of the Intermountain West into the early morning hours of 12:30, along with very strong winds. Now, there is another cluster behind this that's going to factor into the extended forecast. So there is some additional energy that's going to roll in. There may even be a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day storm system for parts of the Intermountain West. And then additionally, some action behind that as well. Here's my snow timeline. Best odds of snow for the Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, Tahoe, interior BC, and the Northeast. So, for example, in the Wasatch, heavy snow continues into the morning of 12:30, along with strong winds. Light snow accumulation 1-1, 1-2, and then potentially heavy 1-3 and 1-4. In the Tetons, it just keeps snowing into the morning of 12:30, along with strong winds. Heavy 1-1, 1-2, and heavy 1-3, 4, and 5. So continuing to get targeted in the Tetons. Colorado, some moderate snows into 12:30 with strong winds, light 1-1, 1-2, and moderate to heavy on 1-4. Okay, let me show you this in another format. So here's my spider chart. Odds of best snow, more purple, higher on the web, better odds of new snow. So that's the central to northern mountains of Colorado. That's the Wasatch, the High Uintas, the Tetons, Idaho, parts of Montana, parts of the Pacific Northwest. Those areas. And I kind of split the Northeast because you're going to have rain initially, but then the snow comes in on 1-1 and 1-2. So you have to keep that in mind. You're going to want to go on New Year's Day or after once temperatures start to turn much colder. So those are the areas that are favored, in my opinion. Let's talk about the jet stream forecast here. So we're going to start this jet forecast. This is on the early morning hours of Monday the 30th. So on this one, I'm looking for are the brightest colors here. A lot of the reds, the purples, the pinks. You're looking at jet level winds at about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. This is essentially the storm track that guides all this action around. So what do you notice right away? Boom, these colors are right over the top of the Intermountain West. Utah, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, parts of Idaho, parts of Wyoming. Very windy with this jet streak. I mean, some of these winds in the core here are 140 miles per hour. So we're going to bring a little bit of that wind down to the surface, certainly to the ridge lines and the mountaintops. And it's going to be a very windy day today across the Intermountain with this final storm system of this cycle. So then it moves out. Here's lunchtime, still windy. Okay, and then it begins to translate out. Here's late today, late on the 30th, Monday the 30th. Now watch what's coming. Early morning hours of the 31st. Looks like a little tiny storm system dropping into the Idaho area, northern parts of Utah, Wyoming, Montana, kind of sliding on through. But then there's another one behind it. This one's got a little bit more to it. This is the afternoon, evening of Tuesday the 31st. So this could be a little bit of a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day storm system sliding through a lot of the Intermountain West. Here's the early morning hours of the first day of 2025, so New Year's Day. A lot of that big wind is gone. There's lunchtime on the 1st of 2025. A lot of the big wind is translated out, and now we're just kind of dealing with some light leftover snows here through parts of the Intermountain West on the 1st of 2025. All right, here's how that looks. Here are my numbers: 12:30 through 1-5. Looking at, we'll start in the Wasatch. 10 to 16 inches of accumulation between 12:30 and 1-5. So some very good additional snow. Additional powder days likely. Look at the Tetons, 20 to 30 inches of additional snow between 12:30 and 1:05. Really good stuff. In the central to northern mountains of Colorado, that's the premier. Those are the premier zones with anywhere from 8 to 14 inches of accumulation. Summit County, Continental Divide, I-70 corridor up to Steamboat, Cameron Pass. Less snow in the southern mountains, and really, I don't have anything for northern New Mexico. In the Sierra, there's a rain snow type of problem up to about 8,000 feet with the next real storm system. So there's going to be some snow higher up, but obviously it's going to be impacted by that warmer air. About 14 up there on Shasta, and pretty good numbers through a lot of Oregon and parts of Washington with a foot or more of accumulation. Some of the best snow through interior BC is going to be at Red Mountain and Fernie, running down into Schweitzer and Whitefish. And still some decent numbers through the rest of Montana and also Idaho. Again, that's 1230 through 1.5. Look at the Northeast. So again, it's all rain, 2930. But then what you see here happens on 1-1 and 1-2, this accumulation, and probably 1-4 and 1-5. But we could be looking at 6 to 12 inches, 6 to 14 inches of accumulation, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, parts of upstate New York, potentially a couple feet on Mount Washington if this plays out. Again, rain 2930, best shot of snow, and much colder air comes in on 1-1 and 1-2. Our guys will end on the big map here for the West. Still a number of powder days ahead potentially through 1-5. Enjoy it. Be safe out there, and thank you for tuning into this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care.